here this evening, and welcome everyone.
Next year.
And we're ready to begin our service as the cantor begins, Hine Matov. So very blessed this evening to celebrate a Benot Mitzvah. So I'd like to call upon our proud mothers, and if our grandmothers and sister would like to come up as well, they're also welcome to come to the Bima to present candlesticks to our Benot Mitzvah as we light the candles and bless the candles for this Shabbat. Please rise.
Our God and God of our ancestors, may the rays of these Shabbat candles cast their glow upon the earth and bring the radiance of your light to all your creatures. Bless our daughters with your love and our homes with the spirit of Shabbat. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
All right, you may be seated. Peace to you, ministering angels, messengers of the Most High. Shalom Aleichem, Malchei HaSharet, page 5.
Shalom Aleichem, Malchei HaSharet, Malchei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Borachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei
Page 13, Shir Ladonai Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Page 14, the heavens shall be glad and the earth rejoice, the sea and its fullness roar, Yismechu Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz, Yirov hayam, Yirov hayam, Yirov hayam, Eloi, Yirov hayam, Yirov hayam, Yirov hayam, Eloi, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Bottom of 20. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lachar kol shor. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lachar kol shor. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lachar kol shor. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lachar kol shor.
And we continue on page 23, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabbalah.
ראש מקדם משוכה סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך ענני ים סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה
So please take a moment and welcome all those around you with a good Shabbos. And now I want to welcome all those who are in mourning this evening to remain standing for the words of the mourner's Kaddish. And everyone else who's not in mourning is welcome to be seated as we continue with the mourner's Kaddish found in our prayer books on page 30. Yitzgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbi v'yamad divrach yirutei v'yamlik malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'kayeh dekol beit Yisrael Ba'agalav izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach leolam omei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudusha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiram b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. And now someone to please rise for the Baruch Hu, page 39.
Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated. Just kidding. We're going to turn to page 40 for Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, חוקים ומשפטים, אותם
Page 41, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavecha, uv'chol nafshecha, uv'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'eleh, Asher Anohi Metzavecha Hayom Alevavecha Veshinatam Levanecha Vedibarta Ba'am Veshivtecha Bebetecha Uvlechtecha Vaderech Uvshokbecha Uvkumecha Uvshartam Leot Aliadecha Vehayu Letotafot Beineinecha Uchtavtam Amezizot Beitecha Uvisharecha.
Continue silently in Hebrew or English to the bottom of page 42.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Who is like you, Adonai, among the mighty? Who is like you, adorned in holiness, revered in praise, working wonders? Michamocha, page 44. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Hashkivenu, page 45.
Shalom.
And we continue now on the next page. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat, the top of page 46.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledorotam beritzolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledorotam beritzolam. Ben Yovain b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledorotam beritzolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledorotam beritzolam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat ledorotam beritzolam.
Please rise, the middle of page 46.
Yikadol ve'yikadol shemei Rabba Be'yom adivrah hirutei be'yamlich malchutei B'chayehon uvyomechon uvchayedeho beit Yisrael Ba'agalot uvizman kariv ve'imeru amen Ba'agalot uvizman kariv ve'imeru amen Amen Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lamei amaya Yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitramam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yithalal shemei dehu deshabrihu le'elamim kol birchatan ve'shirata tushbehata ve'nechemata da amiran ve'alma ve'imeru amen ve'imeru amen ve'imeru amen ve'imeru amen amen.
And now we continue with the silent Amidah, our silent prayers for this Friday night, page 47 through page 52. And as we end our silent prayers, we continue now with a prayer for peace. Oseh Shalom Bimromav.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. And may the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down.
And at this point in our service, we have an opportunity to think of those who are ill, whether they be in our families, in our community, or those in Israel who are suffering. As of course we keep in mind the hostages and all those who are injured at this time, as the cantor leads us in a Misha Barak prayer. You may be seated now as we continue with the Kaddish Shalem, page 54.
Yitzgadol v'yitzkadash me Rabba ve'amati v'ahirte ve'amlich malhute v'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'hayetachol beit Yisrael v'agala uv'yizman kari ve'imeru amen Yehesh me Rabba mevorach le'alam u'lam me'amaya Yitzbara v'yishtaba v'yitzba'ar v'yitzroma v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal shemei dekudesha rihu le'ela minchol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nehemata damiram be'alma Amen. Titzkabot selotahon uva utahon tehol Yisrael kadam avuhon devishmaya ve'imeru Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya ve'hayim aleinu ve'hol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen. Oh say shalom b'roav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'hol Yisrael ve'imeru
Good Shabbos, everyone. So before I begin, I want to apologize if my words tonight make some of you uncomfortable. And I'm confident that in my attempts to please everyone, I will please no one. But please know, this is not an endorsement of any particular candidate. Who you vote for in any election is none of my business. But as a rabbi, there are times I must be completely honest with my thoughts when it comes to the security of our Jewish nation. And in my lifetime, Israel has never been in a more precarious position. So here it goes. If I had the chance right now to have a one-on-one meeting with President Joe Biden. President Biden, it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for the invitation to the White House for this one-on-one meeting. Coming from Houston, I wanted to first present you a C.J. Stroud jersey, an Alex Bregman autograph signed baseball, a Benji Levitt's famous Mom's chocolate cake. You may remember you got it a few years ago when you were here in Houston. Oh, and here's a gift card to Kenny and Ziggy's next time you're in town. Now, thank Jill for making me that wonderful kosher dinner. It's almost as good as the kosher food my wife makes at home. So it's about time, President Joe Biden, that you asked to meet with me. Now, I don't mean this out of a sense of entitlement or overconfidence. Rather, President Biden, I think in many ways I represent the mainstream Jewish voter. And I want to present what's on my mind. And I believe on most American Jews. Many of them like my members, I believe, feel in many respects the same way I do right now. President, as you have fondly recalled many times, I know you met with Golda Meir, the Prime Minister of Israel, back in 1973. I was one at the time. Sorry, I couldn't resist. You met her on the eve of the Yom Kippur War. And with Golda Meir at your side, you toured Israel's borders as she showed you why Israel's situation was so dire. And you were incredibly impressed by Golda, but you became visibly depressed about Israel's chances of survival. But Golda Meir told you not to worry, reminding you that Israel has a secret weapon in her conflict with the Arabs. Israelis have nowhere else to go. And you called the meeting with her one of the most important meetings you've ever had in your political life. And now for over 50 years, you have understood Israel is truly a David fighting against a Goliath, and why Israel must continue to have America's backing in order to survive. President Biden, in your decades of public service, you have often supported Israel and spoken out in her favor. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of hearing you many, many times at AIPAC conferences. And since the 1970s, you've always stood with AIPAC and the state of Israel. And you've made me proud as an American leader who has empathized with Israel's situation. And after October 7th, Mr. President, you also made me proud. Just days after that attack, you reminded the world that Israel is not alone. You moved 2 carrier groups to protect the Jewish state when she needed it most. And as the most powerful man in the world, you said repeatedly, I don't believe you had to be a Jew to be a Zionist, and I am a Zionist. Even conservative leaders in Israel and Republican politicians in the United States praised you. In your support of Israel, you united many Americans from both parties. Maybe Israel is the way to unite this country. But Mr. President, I have to also tell you, you brought comfort to Jews across the world. And you gave reassurance to those who need it most, Israelis, by doing something even more remarkable. You became the first American president to travel to Israel during a time of war. It's never happened before. And you embraced Israelis, not just the prime minister and other elected leaders. You met with Israelis, those mourning the loss of their loved ones and the families of the hostages. Your words of strength and consolation took away some of their unimaginable pain. Mr. President, you showed a sense of empathy and compassion that I believe is the best you've always been about. Your words and actions came from your genuine appreciation and love for the state of Israel. Again, you demonstrated that you are a Zionist. And your popularity rating in Israel was sky high. I'm sure you wish you were running for re-election there. President Biden, here comes the hard part. I have to be honest. Over the last several weeks, something has changed. A subtle shift in your words and actions began during your State of the Union address a month ago. Your speech criticized Israel's attempts of humanitarian assistance. There was no nuance. You claimed that Israel was using humanitarian assistance as a bargaining chip, overlooking the fact that Hamas and numerous criminal gangs in Gaza routinely steal much of the aid Israel was providing. Your administration, a few weeks later, then abstained instead of vetoing a United Nations Security Council resolution, a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza without making the ceasefire contingent of Hamas releasing the Israeli hostages. There was a clear policy shift to put increasing pressure on Israel instead of on the terrorists. And then last week, after Israel's accidental and tragic attack against a World Central Kitchen convoy, your administration further amped up the heat. And these days, it's much more common to hear you and your officials express your frustrations with Israel, and less common to hear any public pressure put on the terrorists. Now this week, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller made clear your administration is ruling out an Israeli invasion of Rafah under any circumstances, raising doubts whether you and the United States still support the complete removal of Hamas from power. And to top it off, Mr. President, in an interview you gave this week, you called for Israel to just declare a 6-week ceasefire without the return of any hostages. I know your advisors quickly cleaned up the mess you made, saying you meant to tie your call for a ceasefire to the release of hostages. But the damage was done. And it's no wonder Hamas has still not agreed to a ceasefire, release any hostages at all. Why should they? You've put all the pressure on Israel. If I was Hamas, I too would wait for your administration to compel Israel to do even more, so I could eke out a few more concessions. Mr. President, you're better than that. It's not that I want you to stand with the democratic country in its time of need. That's not all I want you to do. I want you to be smarter, better. There are hostages who are injured, babies, women who are having unspeakable things being done to them. Some of them are fellow Americans. And you're putting all the pressure these days on Israel. And do you know how painful that is for me and my people, for Israelis, for the families of the hostages? And focusing the attention on Israel's actions, you've made Bibi Netanyahu the great enemy of the world. And I know he's far from perfect. I could give a few sermons about Bibi. But he is the duly elected leader of Israel. And while he is deeply unpopular in Israel, even if he resigned tomorrow, Israel's aims and its conduct in this war, this justifiable war, would not noticeably change. Because Israelis and most Jews around the world are united in getting their people back and removing Hamas from power. And they need this full support of the most powerful person in the world. Now, President Biden, I'm not done. It's obvious why you've changed your tone. And I even understand it. You're down in the polls. And in places like Michigan, with its large American Arab population, you're concerned about losing their votes. And I get it. Their voices are disruptive and they're loud. But don't you think it's magnified just a bit by the mainstream media who's often hostile to Israel? Yes, I know 13% of voters voted uncommitted in February's Michigan primary, but 11% voted the same way back in 2012 when President Obama was running for re-election. And we don't even know why those people voted uncommitted. It may not be about Israel. And look, I understand it's not just about Arab Americans. There are many progressive voters who are also threatening to sit out the election to protest your support for Israel. So I know you have advisors who are telling you that you need to get tough with Israel, perhaps even abandon Israel in a great time of need. The first prime minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, said a long time ago, long wars will never be good for Israel. She will eventually lose support of the world. So, Mr. President, I do appreciate that you have stood with Israel for many difficult months, more than most American presidents ever did. President Nixon gave Israel just 3 weeks in that Yom Kippur War of 1973. George W. Bush, a big supporter of Israel, only gave Israel 5 weeks in 2006 with its war with Hezbollah. And President Obama gave Israel just 6 weeks in another war with Hamas in 2014. You've given Israel over 6 months. And I also know the images coming out of Gaza are not good. I too, like most American Jews, we feel for the suffering of innocent Palestinians. It's terrible. Yet I believe, Mr. President, you still understand, that the blame has to be on Hamas. You know Hamas fights from hospitals and schools behind its people while they rest and eat well in their 450 miles of underground tunnels. They allow their innocent people to suffer above ground. Because Hamas regards every death of a Palestinian as a PR victory. And yes, Israel can and should get even more aid into Gaza. So they are. But the problem is that Hamas often uses the distribution of food as a weapon. And they're the ones who don't get it to the poor people who deserve and need it the most. That is why we all know if Hamas truly cared about its people and their welfare and wanted to prevent future tragedies and further loss of life, it would immediately, without delay, lay down its arms and unconditionally release all the hostages. There's no justification. And with all due respect, Mr. President, I don't hear you present these facts to the world any longer. If you don't maintain your clear and principled defense of Israel that was evident in the aftermath of the October 7th attacks, you risk Israel's ability to win this war. I implore you, Mr. President, please remind the world who Israel is fighting. Call upon the leaders of the world to join you and recognize the nefarious, malicious evil that is Hamas, and of how important it is to all who cherish freedom and value our way of life that they must be defeated. Remind people of the purpose and goals of Hamas, who started this war, and why Israel continues to fight. A clear moral voice like yours is desperately needed at this time. Don't give hope to Hamas to hold out for a better deal, which only serves to prolong the fighting. Now is the time, Mr. President, to provide the leadership, to provide the moral clarity you did for the first 5 months of this awful but justified war on Hamas. Don't give up on Israel now. Because your change in tone is giving the activist left outsized control of your administration's foreign policy. And Mr. President, don't forget, no matter how hard you may try, you can never appease the extreme left, because the extreme left wing of your base will never be satisfied until Israel is defeated for good. Stand by your principles. Stand by what is right. Stand by what I believe is your genuine love for the Jewish nation. Don't be a typical politician who only cares about trying to get more votes. But let me also warn you, don't take the mainstream Jewish voters for granted. We Jews and many friends, we also vote. And our votes in cities like Detroit and Milwaukee, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia can also swing this election. So thank you, Mr. President, for this invitation. It's been a true honor to sit in the Oval Office with you. And I hope you will still have me back someday. But most importantly, you've always been a friend of the Jewish people. Thank you for all that you have done for the state of Israel. Because without American support, Israel cannot defeat Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, ISIS, Islamic Jihad, Syria, and of course Iran, who could attack Israel this Shabbat. I know it's hard to believe, Mr. President. As successful and as strong as Israel is, her situation is just like it was in 1973 when you first met Golda Meir. Israel is still the David fighting the Goliath. Shabbat Shalom. So as we continue to share our prayers and our hopes with the people of Israel, let us rise now for Hatikvah.
Mizrach
Thank you, Cantor Goldman. And now let us continue to stay standing as we now pray the Aleinu as the ark is opened, page 56.
Shabeach la'adon hakol la'teit gedula leotzer breshit shelo asanu kego yeharatzot velo samanu kemishpahot ha'adama shelo samhalkenu kahem vegor aleinu keko hamonam va'anachnu korim Umishtahavim umodim Livnei melech Molhei hamlachim Hakadosh Baruhu Shehu note shamayim Veyoser haaretz Umishiv yakaro Bashamayim ima'al Ushina tuzo Bego hei meromi Zulato, Kakatuv, Betorato, Veyadata Hayom, Vehashavota, Eleva Veha, Ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, Bashamayim, Mima'al, Ve'al Haaretz, Mitahat Ve'ne'emar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo
And we again invite all those in mourning to remain standing for the words of the mourner's Kaddish. And this week at Beth Yeshurun, we offer condolences to the families of Marvin Jacobson, Adam Shibitz, Patricia Nathan, Dr. Arnold Levin, and Queenie Spindle. Page 58. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbi, v'yamad divrach yirteh v'yamlik malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayed dekol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'yemru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mivorach leolam omei amaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudushat brechu. Le'ela min kol berkata v'shirata tushbekata v'nechemata da'amiram b'yama v'yemru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yemru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yemru amen. So we have a couple anniversaries to celebrate this evening. First, celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary, Jennifer and Doug Rosenzweig. And as all of you know, we're very blessed to have Jennifer here as our extraordinary program director. And we wish you, Jennifer, of course, and your husband, Doug, on a happy anniversary. I know this has been a wonderful year, busy with work and school, and you're looking forward to this summer with an extended family cruise. Both of your wonderful sons working at the J and looking for colleges for your upcoming high school senior. It's hard to believe. May God continue to bless you with your beautiful family and only simchas and continued blessings as you celebrate 19 years. Mazel tov. They couldn't be here with us this evening, but celebrating their 55th anniversary and watching online, Madeline and Ed Birdstein. Mazel tov. And Madeline and Ed, we appreciate you watching. This past summer, you got to spend some time in Colorado, and you plan to return this summer. And you're also thankful for your good health, your children, and your 5 grandchildren's good health, as well, of course, as your 4-legged friend, Max, who just turned 17. Happy 55th anniversary, and only continued blessings. Mazel tov. Now, we have a very special golden anniversary to celebrate. One of our grandparents of our Benot Mitzvah, celebrating their 50th anniversary, Randy and Paul Zabowski. Mazel tov. So I know Randy didn't really want to come up here, but we want you to come up here so I can bless you. And you need blessings being with this guy for 50 years. But Randy and Paul are not only wonderful people, but friends of mine. And you have a lot to celebrate this weekend, of course, as Sloan celebrates, your granddaughter celebrates her bat mitzvah. And it's a blessing this evening to be with all your children, your 2 daughters and your son, and of course, their spouses as well, and your grandchildren, your 9 grandchildren. You've been very, very blessed. You were married 50 years ago in San Antonio at Temple Beth El by Rabbi David Jacobson. And I asked you, what's the secret to long-term success? And you told me it's proof that opposites attract, and the secret is that you've been winging it for 50 years. Only continued good things. How wonderful it is to be with all your family. You're very blessed to have them all here in Houston. And may they continue to bless the 2 of you, because I know that means the most to you. And may God continue to bless you with good health, simchas, and many, many, many more happy anniversaries as you celebrate this 50th anniversary. May God always keep you and bless you, show his favor and be gracious to you, and give you only shalom, peace always. And let us say, Amen. Mazel tov. So a few announcements I wanted to share with you is, of course, Passover begins very soon, a week from this Monday night. Hopefully you got in the mail if you're a member. If not, you can go to our website with all the information you need for Passover, from our second night community Passover Seder to where to get kosher food. You can even get Passover for Seder kosher meals here from our catering department for your home Seders. We have our 19th annual men's mock Seder with our friends at United Orthodox Synagogue and Houston Community for Reform Judaism. It's wonderful to join men from throughout the Jewish community. It'll be this Wednesday night, beginning at 7:15, and I'm excited that we're having one of my friends, an Israeli, one of my tour guides that I've used before. His name is Yoav Rotem, and Yoav will be speaking to the group of men about what's happening in Israel. He's engaging. He's just a wonderful person. So we'd love to have all the men there from Beth Yeshurun. Just go to our website for information, for a lot of fun, and also very interesting talk from my friend Yoav. I want to turn the beam over for a moment to my colleague, Rabbi Fort, to tell you about another wonderful Seder before Passover this year.
Not that it's a competition, but if it was, okay, there's a men's Seder, that's whatever. It's like, what is it, whiskey and steak or something? Sure, okay. I'm just saying, if you're a Jewish woman of bat mitzvah age or better, we have our 3rd annual now Women's Chocolate Seder. There is also the traditional 4 glasses of, you can do chocolate milk, you can do Baileys, what have you. As long as you can drive home, we're happy. It is such a pleasure to be in a room with, I think usually around like 50, right, Jennifer? Like at least like 50 women from 13 to 83, and it's such a blast to experience the Seder through a sweet lens. This year, in addition, we are raising money for Na'amat, which is an Israeli women's organization, and they have a special emergency fund in Israel to set up daycare centers at Soroka and other medical centers. There are so many women and other medical personnel who have been really called up, and they just don't have childcare, so they can't work their jobs, which are so critical at this time. So we'll be, in addition to our fantastic, as usual, Chocolate Seder collecting funds for Na'amat. The Chocolate Seder is going to be on Sunday, April 21st at 2 p.m. You can RSVP for that on our website, and I hope to see you there.
Thank you, Rabbi Fort. Many of our Beth Yeshurun teens have joined a very important group called the Jewish Teen Philanthropy Initiative. It's a Houston-based program teaching philanthropy and Jewish values. And this year, they're tackling rising anti-Semitism by fundraising for organizations combating it, like Houston Hillel and Interfaith Ministries. So I hope you'll consider scanning the QR code in your Shabbat handout to donate through this worthy organization. And thank you to our member and teen, Max Frankel, for highlighting this very important cause. Now, I want to let you know about a wonderful Simcha coming up, but it's a lot to celebrate. As many of you know, Rabbi Fort is engaged and getting married to Andrew Rockman. Andrew, mazel tov to you as well, of course. So Rabbi Fort and Andrew want to celebrate with all of you. And so on Friday, June 7th, I know it's a while away, but I want you to save the date, their wedding weekend, but that Friday night, the entire congregation is welcome to join them for services here at 6 o'clock, our normal time, for a special wedding blessing. And then afterwards, we'll have a special kiddush, a special oneg, to celebrate with Andrew and Rabbi Fort and their families, to celebrate a wonderful simcha for them and our entire Beth Yeshurun community. So that's Friday, June 7th. The weekend they'll be getting married 2 days later on June 9th. So we thank you, Andrew and Rabbi Fort, for the invitation. And that Friday night is open for the entire congregation. And finally, and most important, I want to wish Mazel Tov to our Rabbanot Mitzvah, to Sloan and Sophie, Mazel Tov, and to your families. Did a beautiful job tonight, and we look forward to seeing both of you officially become Banot Mitzvah, and we welcome all your family members that are here. You're from Houston or throughout the country. It's great to have them here, and it's great to have another Simcha tomorrow. We'll be in the Bark Sanctuary beginning at 9:30 a.m. So I want to call upon all of your friends and classmates and your siblings and your cousins and all our children that are here this evening to come up to the Bima and to help our Banot Mitzvah and our cantor with the Kiddush and the Hamotzi. And as our boys we come up to the Bima, we say Yesimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim Ke'Menashe. May God bless our sons like Ephraim and Menashe, and all the wonderful boys of our tradition. And we say, Amen. And for our girls, we say, Yesimech, Elohim, Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May God bless our daughters like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, and all the wonderful daughters of our tradition. And may God bless our children always with peace. And we say, Amen. Now please rise for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratav banu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava u'razon, hidhilanu, zikara lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehi